Okay. Hello, we should be live. Let me just double check. Okay, yep, we're live on Twitch. So that's good. Hey, baby bear. Yep, and live on YouTube. Hey, why didn't my title update? There we go. Okay. Oops. Music a bit loud. Okay, thank you. Is that better? Hey, Melinda Mellon, how are you? Oh, no, you can hardly hear it. There we go. Okay, is it good now? Some background music. Okay, there we go. How are you, Melinda? I'm good, thank you. A bit tired, feeling a bit lazy, but not too bad. Okay, I didn't know really what I was going to talk about today, but I think, what's the date? So the 16th. The eclipses are starting. The first eclipse is on the 25th. So if I came on next weekend, we could go through the eclipses for each sign. I think talking about Saturn could be important because that's the strongest energy I'm feeling at the moment. Is the Saturn energy. So we're looking at the chart. Let me bring up the chart. And I want to go through something for each sign. So I'm going to quickly talk about some current stuff and then go through maybe like where Saturn is for each sign. Saturn's so important to us. It's one of the biggest influencing energies, that's probably the best way to say it, in the sky for us is Saturn, because it's just so powerful and so strong, and it affects us so much where it is in our chart. Because it's the taskmaster, it's the timekeeper, it's the it's the boss. So he's always on our back, and he's always, it's always that weight on our shoulders. It's Saturn causing that. So the chart, let me bring it up. It's only showing the background one. Nope, wrong one. Hang on. Oh, no, I don't want to delete. Oops. Here we go. Okay. Now I've added some stuff in. I don't know if it's gonna, anyone can even see it, or if it's gonna make sense. Probably the stuff on the side doesn't really matter. And then we can make it bigger here. So we can see it. Probably better. Okay. So, yes, I've just been playing around with Solar Fire and found where you can add stuff in. And I don't know if I can customize it so I can have what I need and what I want, but it's showing us some more information. So like it's showing us the aspects that the moon is currently making today. So that's pretty cool. It's showing us the nearest eclipses. So it's showing us the previous eclipses. So because when we're born, when we look at like birth charts, we look at the prenatal eclipses. So the eclipses that were just before you were born, and then the eclipses after you were born. And that like can give a lot of information about your soul and your soul purpose and what it's here for and what it needs and whatnot, because of the pre-eclipse and the after eclipse. But that pre-eclipse can be so important too. But anyway, this chart is quite likely it's showing it, because it's showing the pre-eclipse, the last eclipse, and then the next eclipse to come. So as I was saying, the next eclipse is to come on the 25th of October. So yes, we have eclipses every 6 months. Some are more stronger than others, depending on what other planetary influences they are making at the time of the eclipse, and also then how they are affecting us in our chart. So everything is dependent on as above, so below, but meaning as above, the planets are affecting below the earth, but also as above, the energies are affecting us personally, so collectively and personally. So the planets doing their transits will affect us on Earth as a whole, but then the planets will then make an extra double effect on our energy and the planet's energy for us because of where they are in our chart. So if they're hitting on a planet, not hitting on anything in your chart, you're still going to feel them to some degree, because the planets are still affecting the Earth. So as above, so below, we're still feeling that energy in some way, but on a more subtle level, or in some area of your life on a subtle level. But when it's hitting a specific planet like this in your chart, one of these planets, these symbols which represent planets, then that's when they're going to really have an extreme effect on you. So that's why it's important to know and understand your own birth chart, or to at least like know where things are in your chart, or just be able to at least go to like astro.com and pull your chart, or to speak to an astrologer and get like a really basic understanding of your chart, so that you can follow along. And like astrology is so empowering, because it helps, gives us awareness. Like it doesn't, you don't have to use it as a predictive tool that you want to know every little thing that's going to happen in your life. You can do that, sure. You can use astrology to predict so much and be down to the T, like really predict things too, and expertise sort of thing. But there's also the side of it which is just more of, you can do in reflection by looking back at transits in time and reflecting on things, or being aware in the day and the moment of energies and that, so you can reflect in the time and in the place of things happening, and be aware of the energy so you know what's going on and have that awareness and understanding of why things are happening and what's going So yeah, and it's also, you know, knowing like, oh, this week we know that Saturn is going to do this, blah blah blah, and you know that when something happens later in the week and it feels tense or it's happy and joyful, it's this or it's that, whatever it is, the energy, you know, oh, that's probably because of that effect, you know. But it helps us more in a way of like, you know, say it's Mars related or something like that. Mars is making a tense aspect. It helps us to know, okay, someone's reacted really harshly to us today, or we've had like a run in with someone, or we've been in a really moody energy or something like that. Like now the moon is in Cancer. It's natural home sign right now. And we can see here in the chart, so the moon in Cancer here, 5 degrees down here in the pale green, at lime green, I don't know. That is in its home sign, and the moon naturally changes signs every 2.5 days, so that's why it's considered moody. The moon or Cancers, because Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon changes signs every 2.5 days, so they're considered moody because their energy is changing every 2.5 days into a different sign. So it can be considered moody. So when the moon is in Cancer, we can feel more moody. So for the next 2 days, we can be feeling more moody or more touchy, wanting to be more protective of ourselves because it's Cancer, the crab. Yeah, so knowing that now that, you know, the moon is in Cancer and people could be more moody around us, people can be more sensitive around us because of that energy. So we can be more aware of it, and we can be more compassionate and kind and understanding. And that's on ourselves and on others. So if we're more moody and we're being more sensitive or whatever, it's like everything is in transits and it's passing. So whether it's a 2.5 day transit like the moon, or whether it's Saturn transit that's a 2.5 year transit, the energy eventually is going to shift and change. It's not going to be the same the whole time, because it's going to make different energies and different interactions that are going to evolve and grow through the energies as it moves along the zodiac. But it's knowing that the energy will shift and change, and knowing in the moment that it's just a phase or a cycle or a transit, whatever it is, and it's just affecting you in that time, and the awareness of knowing that it's doing it for a purpose, to bring something up or to illuminate something, or it's just an energy that we're feeling and it'll pass, and we can just work and move through and with it instead of against it. So that is why it's so, in short, so empowering, knowing the planets in astrology and what's happening and what's going on, and being able to reflect and look in your own chart. So yeah, the moon is in Cancer right now, so we can be feeling more moody this next 2 days. We can be feeling more wanting to be in our comfort zone, and, you know, needing to take more care of ourselves and those that we love, and our family and loved ones, wanting to look after them and care for them, wanting to cook or do things in the home that you know, make the home feel better, more comfortable, more safe, more family or homey or whatever. Those sorts of things can come up when the moon is in Cancer. And we it can also, it's a really good time when the moon is in Cancer to like a crab, go back into our shell and hide away and rest and recuperate and reflect. A big reflection time when the moon's in Cancer. Reflect, draw our energy back in and back into ourselves, so that we have enough energy, so that once that moon moves forward into Leo, the fiery energy of Leo, we can start to move towards what our heart is feeling intently wanting to move towards with that fiery energy. This is the heart energy, Leo. So yeah, bringing our energy back into ourselves over the next 2 days, 2.5 days, probably already halfway through that day anyway, that first bit anyway. Yeah, next 2 days, say, that we want to have more self-care as well. So, you know, maybe having a bath, or just taking it easy and reading a book, or like, yeah, cooking a really nourishing meal that will make you'll feel good, not something that's like indulgent and heavy, and like you would do that when the moon's in Taurus. When the moon's in Cancer, you want it to be more nourishing and good for you, that's self-care, that's loving towards yourself. Yeah, so I was just thinking about moon in Taurus and food and indulgence and all that then. So yeah, that's a different story. So yeah, so you want to Be gentle with yourself when the moon is in Cancer. And then in 2 days' time, so what are we today? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So after Tuesday or throughout Tuesday, let's actually, we can move this chart forward. So the moon is so fast moving. It can be sometimes overwhelming to follow because it's making so many different aspects throughout that 2.5 days. So it's a 28-day transit, 28 days for the moon to go around through every sign. So it's like the same as a woman's cycle, 28 days. It's all syncs up, and the moon governs feminine energy as well. So, and waters, we know that. So the moon can make so many different aspects, and that's why the moon can be moody, or Cancer energy can be considered moody, or a person with a lot of Cancer or watery energy can be considered moody because they are, feeling that tense change of energies all the time and the different aspects it's making throughout the chart, throughout the month. Saturn transiting my first. Oh, Digoko? That's tough, Saturn in your first. So Saturn's really wanting you to grow up, show up, take responsibility, put the hard work in where you need to in life. It's a difficult transit, but it can be really rewarding. So at the end of the transit, you're going to be so much more in your power because you're going to be able to be more responsible and show up for yourself and show up for others and show up for life. Hello, Greatest Good Tarot and friends. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming. I hope you had a good stream. Obviously, you're doing tarot. Hello, Jelly Lynn. Am I early? Yeah, I've only just started streaming, so I guess you're early. And I'll be doing some chart readings later once I finish chatting. Divine Consciousness, my buddy, how are you? Long time no see. Hello, Greatest Good Tarot. I hope you had a good stream. Conchi! I hope you're well. Oh, thank you for the follows. Hello, Mr. Up and Dragon and Jelly Lynn. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming by. Oh, you're well. Okay. Oh, thank you. Hello, Mr. Up and Dragon. Oh, Conchi. Thank you. So sweet. You had a good stream? That's good. Hope it was nice and chill. It's a pretty chill day with Saturn stationing. Snitch. It looks so bright. Oh, it's pitch black where you are. Oh, well, I'm in Australia, so it's actually overcast, so it's not even bright at all. Well, I mean, it's kind of bright because it's like that overcast reflective sort of thing. Like if you went outside, it's kind of like harsh. But it's 1:47 p.m. here. Oh, ignore my stream elements things. They're very old now. I haven't updated any of my Twitch stuff for a while. And there's no queue or anything like that. But if you hang around towards the end, I'll look at anyone's chart who's still hanging around. Thanks for the follow, Indra Sander. Whereabouts are you, Jelly Lynn, that it's pitch black? So the moon, so even like as an astrologer trying to translate the moon's energies and transit and movements through all the time, yeah, it can be so overwhelming because it's just the moon's taking 2.5 days to move through a sign, and it's going to make so many aspects even just during that 2.5 days. It's going to, aspect half the chart likely. USA. Oh, okay, I thought so. Yep. That's mostly where everybody is, except for me. And I say I'm behind, but I'm actually in front, but it feels like behind because everyone's asleep when I'm awake and vice versa. And I'm working when everyone's whatever, asleep or whatever they're doing. Where the gumbo is. Oh, okay. Sounds like Dead King's Mexican stew that he was making today. So the sun is also, we can see here the sun is moving, getting towards in the last decan of Libra. So it's getting towards the last degrees of Libra before it moves into Scorpio, and then will oppose the moon, making that new moon, and creating that solar eclipse. Is that right? Full moon. So making that full moon and creating that solar eclipse. New moon. I'm having a blank now. Hang on. Jelly lives in a cave. Makes me cry, Cancer moon. Yeah, it's more sensitive, so we can feel more sensitive. We can feel more moody. I've definitely been more moody over the last day, and since last night, probably when it moved in to Cancer. Well, actually, the moon would have been moving over my planets, my energies in Gemini, so that would have made me probably moody before it moved into, because it was before it moved into Cancer I felt a bit moody, but yeah, because the moon would have transited over my Mars, which is at 27 degrees, and the current sky's Mars planetary energy is at 24, so Mars is almost conjunct my Mars, so Mars return for me, but I don't think it won't make it quite there before it retrogrades. So it's like I'm missing all my returns. They're going in retrograde. So my Jupiter return, Jupiter's gone retrograde before I get to have my Jupiter return in Aries. And my Mars return, Mars will go retrograde before I get to have my Mars return in Gemini. So yes, interesting. I'm in the UK. Don't drag me down on the American level. Okay, you're only like 8 hours behind me then. Because I'm a spinach lover. I'm a spinach lover too. Discrimination. It's good for you. Spinach on pizza is weird. I love spinach on pizza. I made a pizza last week and I got the spinach out, and then I made the pizza, and then afterwards like, oh damn it, I forgot to put the spinach on. Yeah, so a full moon is when the sun and the moon are in opposition. So the sun is making the moon full, so shining its light on it, and then a new moon is when they're conjunct. It's like a new beginnings. That conjunction is like birthing new energy. So that full moon solar eclipse that's happening on the 25th, once that sun moves into Scorpio, so we'll be illuminating the Scorpio energies for a month and for the next 6 months, because we're still going to be going through that solar and lunar eclipse energy, the nodes, until they change signs and move into Aries and Libra next year. Spinach, cheese, and mushrooms on pizza. Yeah, that's really good. That's what I was having that with sun-dried tomatoes as well. But I forgot the spinach, as I said. Bye, Greatest Good Tarot. 5 a.m. Oh my gosh. How long did you stream for? Wow. Okay. Take care. Have a good sleep. This feels superior because he can't handle pineapple on pizza. Pineapple's good on pizza too. Thanks for coming by, Greatest Good, and thanks for the raid. Alright, So Saturn is, oh, what was we saying? The moon moving into Leo. The 18th. Tuesday the 18th. So at 12. So that will be Monday night, I guess, for most people on the other side of the world. Thanks, greatest good tarot. Okay, so Saturn. All right, so Saturn is really intense right now. So Saturn's just finishing its 5.5 month. Well, not finishing, but it is finishing its 5.5 month retrograde. Saturn changes signs every 2.5 years, and Saturn wants us to grow up, take responsibility, show up. It wants us to put effort and work into a certain area of our life, wants us to dedicate our energy and our time. It wants us to be on time. It wants us to show up. It wants us to play, put in, it's helping us to resolve our karma as well by doing the right thing and by staying in our integrity. If we stay in our integrity during that time and that energy with those things, those areas, those themes of our life, then when Saturn finishes that transit and moves out of that sign or gets towards that, we can even see when Saturn's getting towards the last degrees of that sign, we can really reap rewards. And Saturn and Jupiter rewards are different. It's not like Jupiter where it's like abundance and growth and expansion and luck and all that. Jupiter's rewards come from the hard work, from the dedication, from the integrity, from doing the work and showing up. And its rewards are long lasting, not like Jupiter, where Jupiter can just be a sparing moment or be some luck or some happy energy or opportunity or moment that comes by. Saturn is long lasting. It's committed energy. So it's where we've committed our time and energy. We can then get a long-term commitment. So something that we've been, doing for 2.5 years. So this energy for Saturn started in December 2020, when Jupiter and Saturn met on their grand conjunction at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And that energy, that sign and that energy, 0 degrees Aquarius, is very potent because we also had Venus and Mars meeting there, and we also had, I think it was Uranus and Mars meeting there at one point. I can't remember, but that 0 degrees is very important. That Venus and Mars meeting there, and at the time was in a conjunction with Pluto, and this is back in like April, May, March, somewhere around there. And that was, helping us to transform our relationships, what we value, what we love, our drive, our passion, helping us to transform and get to the truth and get real about things so that we can start to see where we want to commit and who and what things we want to commit to over that next 2.5 year period, basically. When Saturn and Jupiter came through and offered us huge expansion and growth and opportunities, that a transit that hasn't happened for many hundreds of years, that is an opportunity for us to work really hard for that 2.5 year period. So December 2020 until so we're almost at the 2 years, so another 5 or 6 months of it or something like that. And we're going to, let's actually have a look. It's more fun when we can work through things together. Skate Punk, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. I hope you're doing well. How has your is it week or fortnight? I can't remember when I last streamed. Maybe a week ago. How have you been? So let's have a look and see when. So let's look at Saturn. So I'm going to go back a couple of days, and we can see Saturn is, if we look at the chart down here, I hope you can see. we've got Saturn at 18 degrees and 41 minutes. And as we go forward each day, 18 degrees and 40 minutes, 18 degrees and 39 minutes, 38 minutes, 37 minutes, really slowing down. You can see each day as we move forward. 18 degrees and 37 minutes, 36 minutes. And that was 2 days to get a minute. 18 degrees and 35, 18 degrees and 35. So another 2 days and we're not even a minute moved. 18 degrees 35, 18 degrees, so stationing, there we go. So Saturn stationing at 18 degrees 35 minutes in Aquarius, and this is a very potent degree because we've had Saturn and Uranus making their squares at this degree. We've had Mars and Uranus, I think, also making an aspect in this area as well. I think it was back in 2020 even, which is very potent. So this 18 degrees is very potent. And if you look at Nikola Stovanich, I can't say his name. He's an ancient astrologer. He's passed away now, but he's known for his degree theory. And the 18th degree and the 22nd degree are very bad degrees, as you could say, or demonic degrees, or intense degrees, or whatever. But the 18th and the 20th degree can bring like crisis or really bad or big situations, or people that have certain planetary energies at those degrees can have like, you know, bad things happen to them, or they can be murderers or all sorts of crazy shit, basically, like the 18th and the 22nd degree. So maybe I should be more specific and actually read his text so I'm not like just throwing all this crazy shit out there and scaring people. But you can look it up anyway, the degree theory, or Nicola's degree theory. I've even posted about it on my Instagram before. But yeah, so that 18 degrees is very potent and when we're talking about Saturn and Uranus making a square, which is a hard aspect, and we've got Saturn 1 energy, which is all about structures and following the rules, doing the right thing, all of that. And we've got Uranus wants to rebel and do his own thing and revolt and revolutionize things and all of that, basically, and shake and stir things up. What house is your Mars? My Mars is in the 9th house, on conjunct my midheaven at 27 degrees in Gemini. Where's your Mars? Do you know where it is? Digogo? Are those critical degrees? Yeah, so the 22nd here. Let me bring it up. It's really interesting. Nicola. How did I say his name? I'll say degree theory. See what I can find that's easy to look at. Okay, here's a good one. All right, so let me share my screen. Share that. Make this a bit bigger. There we go. I think that's pretty good. Okay. So, yeah, so his degree theory is based on each of the degrees. So the first degree is Aries, and then the 13th degree is Aries, because we've got the first degree is Aries, the second degree is Taurus, the third degree is Gemini, the fourth degree is Cancer, the fifth degree is Leo, the sixth degree is Virgo, the seventh degree is Libra, the eighth degree is Scorpio, the ninth degree is Sagittarius, the 10th degree is Capricorn, the 11th degree is Aquarius, the 12th degree is Pisces, because we've got 1 to 12 signs. And then we get back to the start of the zodiac. The 13th degree is Aries, the 14th degree is Taurus, the 15th degree is Gemini, and we go on until we get to that 30 degrees. And so we get to 18 degrees, which is a Virgo degree. And we know that Virgo can be very harsh and very critical and very attention to detail, and things must be done the right way, and can be very anxious energy and can get really wound up and can be really like nitpicky. And so and the opposite sign of, and we always look at, when we look at a sign, we always look at the duality, so we're looking at the opposite sign too. So the opposite sign of Virgo is Pisces. And what do we know about Pisces? If we're looking at things that are a bit more darker, Pisces can be deceptive, it can be lying, it can be deceitful, it's hidden stuff, it's also psychological things as well, it's institutions, it's where we can lose ourselves. So we're looking at, the 18th degree, to diminish, to make smaller. And I mean, that's, if you look at how critical Virgo can be and how harsh it can be and nitpicky and all that, and it is to make something smaller. You can make someone feel smaller by being too harsh and being critical and nitpicking it all the time and judging, not judging, it's more Libra energy, but so improvement, health work. So 18th degree, critical degree, when we're talking about health too, that Virgo energy. And when we're talking about Virgo and Pisces axis, we talk about health, it's a really hard energy to balance, because we're trying to find a balance between having really healthy routines and not overdoing it, not like working too much and working too hard, but then not focusing on our health and having balance and being able to have that really busy, active mind and plan and get all these things done, but then also have that balance of relaxation and meditation and calming the mind as well. So it's those two energies. So the health can be a big aspect with Virgo, and because Virgo is prone to stomach issues as well, and that's where the anxiety and the stomach issues and all that sort of thing comes in. So that 18th degree, to be of service, where we're too much of service, we just feel like we've got to fix everything and do everything, So the 18th degree is considered a critical degree, and the 22nd degree. So on here, it says up here, you can learn more about degree through here and here. Simply passing knowledge research, more simplified way. Yeah. Trigger warning. So for the 11th, the 15th, and the 18th and 22nd degrees, according to Nicholas' research, each degree is connected to the sign it rules. What does it say about 22? So again, 22 degrees is another extremely harsh degree, because we're talking about Saturn rule degree then. So we're talking about, it says to take control, public attention, coldness, fear, depression, rationality, ambition, father. So again, it's like wanting to create a legacy, wanting to work so hard or move so much more towards, like, it's so important to create this legacy and to work hard and to build something than it is to, and we can get lost in that too, and it becomes it's detrimental, because it's like that's the only focus. It's like that recognition, that ambition is like the most important thing, to be recognized, to be it's like to give that value and that worth in that way. So what does it say? Hang on, let me go back to the website so I can scroll. Let's see if it has more information about the 18th degree. Here we go. So the 18th degree, pure evil. Okay, so when I was saying demonic, it was quite right. I just didn't want to be so negative, I guess. That's my Sag moon. Okay, so hang on, let me have a drink. So the 18th degree, pure evil. Let me see if you can actually see this properly, because now I've scrolled. Okay, yeah. So I can read it on here, and then I can still see chat. Symbolizes a bad destiny to Nicola. This is the worst degree you can have. It can indicate rare diseases, tragic accidents. He says there's no good about this degree. Okay, me trying to be positive about it, but I absolutely disagree. This is this person's opinion about it, and I've heard other people disagree as well with what he says. But I mean, I'm not going to say who's right or wrong or whatnot, but Nikola how do you say his name? Hang on, let me scroll. Nikola Stojovnik. Yeah, he's very smart. I've listened to him for many years before he passed away. I found him through Astrology, and I've listened to him over the years, probably through, I don't know, I can't even remember. I think he had his own channel. Anyway, but yeah, and he is very wise and very smart, and a lot of these older astrologers now are coming from more of an ancient astrology background too, because they've been studying astrology for say 40 years or 50 years, whatever it is. And so, you know, the tropical, the modern astrology wasn't so in our faces then, or so interpreted so much, or wasn't so in the forefront or whatever, you know, available, that information and that. Whereas, you know, the ancient astrology, there's more texts about it, there's more books written about it back, say, 30 years ago or whatever. So back to the 18th degree. So the 18th degree, so symbolizes bad destiny to Nicola. This is the worst degree you can have. It can indicate rare diseases, tragic accidents. He says there's no good about this degree. But this person absolutely disagrees. Says not to be a hopeless optimist or possess half the knowledge that he does. This is what I was just saying. But I think it's pretentious to assume that a degree is literally all bad and there's nothing we can do about it. That takes away from our free will and our inner strength. Many people have this degree present in their charts, and I believe Nicola had it himself. It's about facing hardships, but well, that's life. And I don't know that he didn't have his spiritual perspective on it too, and he didn't think that, you know, because he's just saying how bad it is and pure evil, and like it's really hard to deal with that. And like maybe it is something that is maybe not fully overcome, but maybe it's like depending where your Pluto is in your chart too, whether you can, you know, stay in your power and not like let something like that, those energies take over you or control you or be drawn to those sort of things in those ways. But again, that's where awareness comes in, like I said at the start, and I always say awareness comes in. So to know these things, to understand these things, is how you can be in more control and more empowered, and not be affected so much. So the 22nd degree, to kill or be killed. So my teacher, the Leo King, he says that he's got something at 22 degrees, and he says that he's always got this feeling or fear or whatever it is that someone's going to kill him, that he's going to be killed. So it's found this and like, okay, and so there's this other girl too that there's other people in the past I've followed who have looked into, and I don't know if she did things ages ago, but I know she did something a few months ago when he passed away. Well, not a few months ago, but when he passed away, it's probably more than months ago now, it's probably like a year ago. But there's a few things around where people looked into these degrees and at serial killers and murderers and all this shit, and they've got these degrees, like a lot of killers and stuff. So, and this chick, Cosmic Drugs, I think she is on Instagram, and I think she's quite popular because she's blown up. She's done a lot of crazy videos and she's quite dark. And and she's posted a few times about different serial killers and different things about the 18th degree. She's a big follower of Nicola Stojovnik's work, I think. So yeah, quite interesting. But yeah, you can look at these degrees and you can see for yourself how they reflect for you. So like for myself, my sun's at 23 degrees. So if you're looking at what 23, I already know it's an Aquarius degree. And that's where that side of me comes in for sure. But yeah, so 23 degrees, divorce, surprises, high places, high tech, new technology, humanitarianism, organization, friends, networking. So my sun's there. My sun is what lights me up, what makes me happy. It's shining a light in an area of my life where I can find vitality, can find energy, where I can find some soul purpose. It's also part of me that lights me up. So it's a part of my personality, and it's part that I'm shining out, and it's where I'm wearing my heart in a sense. So that Aquarius energy is, you know, like for me, I do feel I've always been more like humanitarianism. I want like what's good for the earth, and I want the environment to be good, and I want everyone to get along and be peaceful, and there to be harmony, and for, you know, everyone to get on for the bigger higher purpose, and for you know, people to just get along. And that's where the networking, socializing comes in, and you know, wanting that yeah, it's like seeing things for the bigger higher picture, and like knowing there's more, there's something bigger than just like the small things or whatever. The small things are important, but I mean like there's more to life than just, you know, what we're being shown, I guess, as well. Aquarius is an alien energy. So anyone who has a strong Aquarius in their chart is an alien or is very an alien-like. Yes. And most Aquariuses agree with me, so I'm sorry if you're offended, but it's very true. My Mars is 5-6 in Cancer. This Jovnik is his last name. Yeah, Jovnik. Yeah, I'm really bad with that. I don't know why. Probably because Saturn Stationing. Saturn sits on my 3rd house on my moon, and that's when I have issues with communicating and expressing myself and speaking properly. Your Mars is 5-6. Oh, 5th, 6th house, depending on whole sign or Placidus. Is that what you mean? 5th or 6th house? Or you mean it's on the cusp? Yeah, so that's where we're dealing with now. Saturn stationing direct. Saturn has already made 2, 3 aspects. I think there's 4 all up that Saturn and Uranus make. And these are 2 outer planets, so they're affecting us on a world scale, and it's affecting the world, this transit, so much. So it's going to affect us personally. Again, like I said, depending where it is in your chart, but on a world scale, this is huge because they're 2 outer planets coming into. And the thing is, like when we're talking about outer planets too, these planets are so slow moving. So when they're making these aspects, they're so important, and they're so important for us to pay attention and to know what's going on, because they only happen every like hundreds or thousands of years, these transits, and they're trying to wake us up. They're trying to show us something. They're trying to tell us something. They're trying to evolve us. They want humanity to be shaken up or stirred up or changed or something, you know, like there's something going on they want us to see, to be aware of, to take notice. So Saturn is all about structure and responsibilities and showing up and doing the right thing, and in that Aquarius energy is about doing things for the bigger, higher purpose. So it's like, yes, I have to go to work every day, and I have to get up, and I've got to brush my teeth and do all these lame things, or what is it called, like mundane things or whatever, but it's for a bigger, higher purpose. It's so that I can, or it's like, here's a good example. So I have to go to work every day to a job that, you know, like for example, someone, you know, you go to a job every day, like say you're working at McDonald's. You're going to work at McDonald's every day, but it's because you're studying a degree at the same time, you know, and it's not that, you know, that's your dream job and at McDonald's, and it feels like hard work, and it's, you know, there's so much responsibility between the work and the university and all that, but the payoff when you finish that degree in a couple of years, it's a long-term Saturn commitment too. It's going to be worth it because you're going to be doing what you really want, what your heart, you know, you dream of, or what you're really driven towards, or whatever it is. And it's that small sacrifice in that meantime of that hard work and that responsibility of having to manage it all, but also having to do something that you don't necessarily love, or, you know, I mean, staying in something toxic isn't good. It's not saying stay in something toxic and then you'll get a payout at the end, or you'll get rewarded by Saturn. It's not that at all, because that's not being in your integrity. Staying in something that you know is like good for you in the moment, or good for your growth, or good for you, so that it builds and helps you to build towards something else, because it's all about building. And having structure, so it's something that's helping you to move then towards something better, or for a bigger, higher purpose. Or, you know, starting, you know, getting a new job, and you start as a receptionist, and it's like, yes, you don't want to be a receptionist, you want to be the manager, or you want to be a supervisor, but you know that that's an entryway, and you know that if you work hard and put the effort in, and you show up every day, then you've got a chance of getting rewarded and getting promotions and that, and putting in the hard work. And then in 3 years time, after the 2.5 years time, when Saturn's gone through a whole cycle, you end up being in that supervisor, or even better, in a higher position, more than what you expected, because you put the work and effort, and you showed up every day, you put the time and energy, you stayed in your integrity, and worked and built towards something. So that's what Saturn wants from us. And then we have the other side of it, and we've got a square, and a square is always more intense. A square is restricting us in some way. It's wanting us to slow down and stop and look at another direction or path, or wanting us to see another, not another point of view, such like an opposition, but to see where we're gone off path maybe, or where we've got conflicting issue, like it's 2 conflicting energies. So we've got a square, it's like 2, so it's like something is conflicting in our life, and it's not working for us to move forward and to build, you know, there's like a leaky pipe, or your tire needs changing in your car, and so you're not able to like get where you need to because you need to get that fixed and sorted first, or something like that. It's like stopping us to detour in another way, or to fix something, or to get back in our integrity if we've gone off path or something like that. It can feel tense and restrictive and feel heavy and hard and burdensome and all that stuff, because it's wanting us to be aware, you know. And squares are good for our growth because they bring that intense energy that pushes us to to change, or to do something different, or to take another path, or do something, or whatever. Whereas when it's a trine or something that's a good aspect, it can just pass by us because we're not pushed to do anything or take any action. So a square is pushing us to take action on something that's in conflict, that's not working, that's restricting us, that's putting us off our path, that we've gone off our integrity or something in some way. So then in that square with Uranus, so these two energies, the conflicting energy, so that Saturn energy, that responsibility, that being a grown up, showing up, versus Uranus that wants us to rebel because it wants to liberate us. It wants us to get out of our comfort zones. It wants us to shake and stir things up and surprise us, and take us on another path that maybe we didn't see, or that we didn't expect, or show us something that can help evolve our soul, that helps liberate us. Uranus is the awakener, so it's here to awaken us, to liberate us, to raise our consciousness, our frequency. So Aquarius, it rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is frequency, so it's helping us to raise our frequency, and that requires us to and that sometimes to do that, it takes us out of our comfort zone, but it also can shake and stir things up in our lives and help to liberate ourselves, to get us out of things that aren't in our frequency anymore, in the frequency where we need to move towards. So that Saturn energy, you know, it's old structures and old ways of doing things, and groups and societies and people and relationships and all that come up too, that are not a part of us moving to a new frequency, that are stuck, are part of our old frequency, but aren't helping us to evolve and to move into something new, where we in that Uranus Taurus energy. So Uranus is not comfortable in Taurus too, so the square energy. So Saturn's in its home in Aquarius, it's happy to be there, it's building structures and whatnot there, new structures. But Uranus in Taurus is not its favorite place, because Taurus is a stuck energy. It's fixed. It wants to stay in its comfort zone. It just wants to keep things the same. It doesn't like change. Whereas Uranus wants to change and stir and shake things up. It wants to try different things. It wants to rebel against the standard, the norm, against what is seen as the right thing to do, you know, or like Saturnian in a way, or you know, what is seen as what's expected or whatever as well. 22nd Nicola is calling kill or be killed degree. Yeah, it's crazy. I hope no one has any 22 degrees here. And if you do, I won't say anything. What I was going to say, I'm not going to say anything I'm going to regret saying. Okay, let's just leave it. I'm sure there's some positive things. It's weird too, because 22 degrees is like a manifesting degree. It's really super powerful number in numerology and in even decoding and stuff like that. So yeah, that's interesting. But it does break down to 4, and 4 in, if it's 4 or is it 5 in Chinese numerology isn't good. Might be 5. That's not good actually, not 4. Okay, so Taurus is all about stability and security, and Uranus wants to shake and stir all that up. And Taurus is about money and finances and agriculture and our self-worth and our confidence and our skills and abilities. And Uranus comes and liberates us in that area of our life, so where that Taurus energy is. So where Aquarius is and where Taurus is in your chart is super potent, super important. So Saturn stationing direct at 18 degrees, and Saturn will be stationing until, stationing at the 24th of October, so what, we've got just over a week. And then that full moon doesn't happen until the 25th, so if we go over to the 25th, this is in Australian time, Brisbane time, so it'll be 24th likely. Oh no, it might be no, it's 25th. It is 25th because it's 8:48 p.m. for me, so it will be maybe 12 p.m. or maybe earlier in the morning for you, when the solar eclipse in Scorpio is happening on the 25th of October. So we have Saturn at 26 degrees. So Saturn's moved on now. So wait, where are we at? Okay. So yeah, so we have a solar eclipse on the 25th, it's a new moon. The moon and sun coming together. I think I said it was full moon earlier. We just had a full moon in Aries. We just had a full moon in Aries. We had a new moon in Libra, full moon in Aries, and now we'll have a new moon in Scorpio, when the sun and moon are meeting, where the sun is in the sign for the month, and that's that solar eclipse. So we had a lunar eclipse back in Scorpio in May, and a solar eclipse in Taurus, and now we're going to have the opposite, a solar eclipse in Scorpio and a lunar eclipse in Taurus. I have a couple of 0 degree placements. Yeah, I think we spoke about the 0 and the 29 degrees. Yeah, they're the critical degrees, definitely. So you have some very strong energies in your chart, that's for sure. So Uranus is currently at 17 degrees. So Uranus is in retrograde, so it's moving back. So it will move forward again past that 18 degrees, but it won't catch Saturn. They don't meet exact, but they are still in that square because they are at the same degree and then within a degree as well. So, what was I saying? 26. I was looking at bloody Pluto. Okay, so Saturn's at 18 degrees. Yeah, so Uranus is moving back down. Now, so Saturn moves out of Aquarius and into Pisces. I think it's in March. Let's have a quick look. 29 degrees, yeah, so in March. So that's when we've got Pluto going into Aquarius and Saturn going into Pisces. So as I spoke about last week, I think it was when I streamed, or was it week? I think it was last week. Yeah, I was speaking about the next 6 months and what's coming up, and there's some extreme energies. And then even the week before that, or 2 weeks before that, I spoke about Mars and what Mars is going to be doing for the next 5.5 months, a rare transit where it stays in the same sign for 5.5 months. It's a long time, which is going to be very intense for us. All right, so if we go back to today, now, what did I want to talk 9th of October. Here we go. Where are we? 16th. Wow, we're 16th of October already. Okay, so actually wrote something down before. I didn't want to forget. I had a thought about, because all morning and even yesterday, I think it was, I was like, what am I going to talk about in stream today? I feel like I've spoken to enough lately about all the future energies coming up. I'm like, should I just talk about the current planetary energies for the week, or I feel like I want to do something for each sign. So I was like, what am I going to talk about for each sign? And I was like, what's important? Sometimes I just don't. And I was like, why am I not feeling motivated? Why can't I work it out? Why am I feeling like this stuck energy? And then when I realized Saturn was stationed, I was like, oh, that's why I spent most of my weekend sleeping, because we can feel more tired because that energy is just like stuck there with the station, and Saturn is our drive in a sense, because it's what makes us show up and it's our taskmaster, so it's like we feel like we do stuff. It's like having the energy to do it. So, and that moon, moving into Cancer too. Yeah, but I made it here, so it's the most important thing. Hey, so do I want to talk about the eclipses and maybe I'll just quickly go through each sign and what do I want to do that next week? Do I want to talk about Saturn today? No, I was going to talk about Saturn. Okay, we're going to talk about eclipses next week. I'll just quickly say that because we're in eclipse season already, so the reason it's so important to keep talking about it is because these energies play out a month before the eclipses. At least we're feeling it, and the energies, the nodes are an 18-month cycle, so it's affecting us, for a long time. And this solar eclipse in Scorpio coming up so the sun is illuminating something. So and we're talking about the south node, and the south node is the past. It's where we come into this life with our south node, and it's what we're comfortable with, where we feel safe, what we know, our natural energy in a sense, and we need to use that, not move away from it and discard it or ignore it, but use that energy to move towards our north node, towards our destiny, towards our future. But it involves a part of releasing and letting go, and a part of that is becoming more the south node becoming more of a spiritual energy that we connect with rather than a physical, and that north node being something that we physically are going to attain and to work towards in this life. It doesn't have to be actually physical, but yeah. And so we're cutting cords in a sense with that south node energy so we can move towards that north node, but keeping that spiritual lessons. And we can't get rid of our past, but we can learn from it and use that energy to empower ourselves and move forward. And that's what it is. It's like releasing the past, what's holding us back, but using that knowledge and power then to move forward towards our destiny and our future, the north node. So we're leaving something behind, the past, to move forward to the future. So the sun is about what's lighting us up, what's making us happy. So when it's there in that solar eclipse and it's in that south node, about the releasing and letting go, it's about, where are we staying in our comfort zones, staying with someone, with something, with a situation, with a job, a person, a behavior, an attitude, a routine, a habit, whatever it is that's toxic, because it's Scorpio, that's keeping us stuck like Scorpio in mud. And it's giving us a false sense, because of that Taurus North Node energy, a false sense of stability, a false sense of security. It's not really as safe as we really think it is. Under the surface, it's not as stable or as strong structure as we think. It's like there's cracks and there's stuff bubbling under the surface that could be shaken or stirred up or brought up at any time, like a volcano erupted. Or there's something that needs to have a death you know, or come to an end. And it can be, doesn't mean like someone has to die. It can be a death, like the ending of something, so that we can rebirth and come into something new. It's like, you know, we need to let something die off, or let something get to the I'm gonna say we can get to the end of something. Oh yeah, but basically it's just like, it's that transformation. We need to transform something, so we need to death, rebirth, transformation, all of that comes in basically. Something we need to let go of behavior, toxic energy, toxic person, situation, place. It could be us and how we're looking at something, how we're seeing something as well. And we're, you know, not seeing, I won't say things clearly because that's more Neptunian, but somewhere that we're deceiving ourselves in a sense of because we're just too comfortable in where we are, and we don't want to see things for what they really are, I guess. Oh shit, I'm not showing the chart anymore. God damn. Hang on. Let me bring the chart back up. Whoops, my friend, I'm sorry. I always do this. Still stuck in the degrees. Let me go back to the chart. Let me fix that up again. Oops. Smaller now. Oh, wrong thing. Give me a chart. Yeah, chart. There we go. I think that's better now. Anyway, okay. I don't know how I had it before. Saturn in Aquarius to me means humanity in crisis. Yeah, well, look, that's what we are going through as well, because its structures are being, like, the structure, so the old Capricorn Saturnian structures are being destroyed so that we can have structures that are more in alignment with humanity, that are more in alignment with the future and with technology and with the bigger, higher purpose. Because Aquarius is about the people. Aquarius is the collective energy. So it's Saturn in that is structures, and but things have to collapse before they can be rebuilt into something new as well. And we have had that Pluto in Capricorn energy, which affects that Saturn energy too. Saturn is that ruler of Capricorn, and it's asking us to again, for things to die or come to a death so they can transform, they can change, they can be rebirthed into something new. That's for a bigger, high purpose. Skate Punk, yes, on YouTube and on Twitch. Okay, so alright, so I was talking about eclipse, that's right. Before I realized I wasn't even showing you the chart. So yeah, so that eclipse is really going to show us, and eclipses are, so they eclipse things in and out of our life. So something is being eclipsed out of our life so that something can be eclipsed in. And depending on how the eclipses line up, sometimes we can have 3 eclipses, and we can have a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, and another lunar eclipse. And it's like the lunar is the releasing and letting go, the solar is bringing something into our life. Sometimes it's not the case, it's the solar first, so something comes into our life, but we can't fully move into it or towards it until we've released and let go of that other thing, which then comes later. So sometimes we get the treat or the gift of the eclipse of seeing what's coming into our life first. So then we're like, okay, we're definitely going to move and get away from this because we can see what's coming. Other times it's a trust and we've got to release and let go, knowing that something else is coming in. And in this cycle, we've got the solar eclipse first. So we're seeing what's coming in, and then we're having the release and letting go of what needs to shift so that it actually can come into our life and manifest over the next 6 months. However, we also did have an intense full moon just recently in Aries, which is giving us that sort of first energy to full moon to release and let go before that new moon energy of the solar eclipse of something coming into our life. So we've sort of had that release point already where we could have seen with that full moon in Aries last week, whatever it was, last weekend, the 9th, wasn't it? Around then, where whatever Aries, the Aries energy, an area of our life where we need to release and let go of what's no longer in alignment and serving us. And because that ruler of that full moon is Scorpio, it's Mars and Scorpio, but Scorpio is one of the rulers, and that Scorpio is the ruler of the South Node, which is part of the eclipse energy that comes into play because the nodes and the moon they travel and affect each other. So that comes into play, and that full moon is therefore connected to these eclipse energies, and it was a part of it helping us to release and let go, or to see, to get a taste of that energy before we have, get that opportunity to let something in. Okay. So that's what we're going to be feeling intensely. More of that eclipse energy building up until the 25th when it peaks and it actually happens. That new moon, that new beginnings, new opportunities, something eclipsing into our life. So, if you don't know where these energies are happening in your chart, or if you don't know what rising sign you are, rising sign is so important. It's dependent on the time of birth. If you don't know your time of birth, either look in your birth certificate. If you're in other countries, you can find the time in your birth certificate. Sometimes, if you're in Australia or sometimes other countries too, you can't. You can call the hospital of where you're born. They'll put you through to records department or something like that, and you can find out what time you're born. You can find the exact time of birth, which gives so much more about your chart and understanding of it. It's so important when we do a reading for you that we know what the time of birth is. Otherwise, we can only generalize about things. And knowing your rising sign is critical because it helps you to know where these planets are affecting what areas of your life. And we only know what area of life things will happen depending on your time of birth. So if you don't know if you know your time of birth but you don't have your chart, you can go to astro.com. Let's quickly go there and show you. It'll take us a minute. So anyone that doesn't know, you can join my Discord, which the link's in bio, or link is in bio, links in my information, my about me, always wherever you are, there's always links to Discord, and you can join. And actually, I don't know if the chart bot's even working, but if you just go on the Astrology channel and put your date of birth and time in that, I can pull up the chart and I can tell you what your rising sign is, so you know what you're looking for. Otherwise, you can go to astro.com. Astro.com. I'll show you. Let me bring it up. My OBS gone. Okay, so let me just change this. Okay, so astro.com is one of the best places for free horoscopes. So you go to astro.com and then you go here to free horoscope. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move this over. See what you can see. Okay, you can almost see it. So you go over here, free horoscopes it says, and then down here it says horoscope chart. Drawings and data. You go to chart drawing ascendant or extended chart selection, whichever. If you're more experienced, you understand extended, but otherwise you go to chart drawing ascendant, and you can log in. And then once you don't have to log in, you can enter birth data for free. I'm not logged in at the moment because I had to reformat my computer, so I need to log in again to see all my charts. But if I was to log in, then I would be able to see all the charts that I have saved in there, and you can have, I don't know how many, there's a lot of charts you can save in there. So you can look at your family, you can look at your friends, and you can just you don't have to log in like now. I didn't log in, but you can log in and then you can have access to your chart and whoever else's, and you can do synastry charts where you put two charts together, like you could compare your charts and whatever else. So yeah, you put in your details and it will bring up your birth chart. So this is one of the best websites. And then when you get more experience, or once you've done that, you know, want to learn more, you can explore further, and that's when you can go back here and you can go to horoscopes, drawing and data, and then you get extended chart selection, and you've got to enter your birth details to be able to do it. And then you can, you know, look at adding in many different things. You can change different styles, look in different charts, all sorts of things. Astro.com is one of the best free versions. You can do so much on it. So, okay, back to Astrology. Back here, OBS. No, that's not the one we want. This one. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to quickly go through each sign where Saturn is. So where Saturn is, this is where since December 2020, you have been putting in a lot of work and effort, putting a lot of energy, showing up, taking responsibility, being responsible. You've had more responsibility come into your life. You can feel more burdensome and heavy. You can feel like you feel more restricted in this area of your life. You can feel more like you got to be more serious, where you got to stay in your integrity. You can't play up. You've got to do the work and put the effort in. So between now and this is really, between now and March, this is really powerful now. Between now and March, this 2-year transit is coming towards its end, where we're getting to start to see the rewards. You'll start to see them. You really will, especially after Saturn and Uranus finish this tense energy where they're probably, you know, setting us up for what's to come with Saturn. But you'll really start to see where you've put that hard work in, and where you need to continue to put the hard work in and show up and all those things, and the rewards will come over those next few months, or at the end of that cycle, or whatever it is. You'll see the rewards from the hard work, trust me. All right, take care. Thanks, Conchi. Thanks for being here. Sending you lots of love. Hello, sweet dream. How are you? Lovely day to you as well. I hope you're well. Okay, so all right, so Saturn. So we'll go through the signs and we won't be too long. It'll be quick. And then we can have a look at individual birth charts for anyone that's still hanging around. All right, so Saturn for Aries. So for Aries rising, I mean, it's going to affect your sun and your moon to a degree as well, but the area of your life where it's going to be happening, where, as I said, you need to be where you've been showing up or putting energy, and where if you've been doing the hard work, if you haven't been slacking off, you'll get the rewards from. So where you may have been restricted or whatever. So for Aries people, this is your 11th house. So the 11th house is our social groups, our friends, our communities, our organizations we're a part of. It's the bigger, higher picture. So if you've been, showing up for friends, taking responsibility with your, and putting energy and committing and all that stuff, staying true to your commitments with friends, with friendship groups, with communities, with organizations, with people, in general, with the bigger, high picture, what you're doing for a bigger, high picture, the long term, the future. If you've been putting in the hard work, if you've been showing up, if you've been taking responsibility with all these things, you'll start to see these rewards now as Saturn moves direct and comes towards the end of the transit. But Saturn's still only at 18 degrees, we have to remember, though. You can see here in this Aquarius energy. So he hasn't quite reached that last D10 yet. So it's still going to get more intense, where you're going to have to probably show up even more, put more effort in, put more energy in, have more responsibility, come by in this area, but we can't have that reward without more of that hard work and responsibility coming through. So you can't have anything rewarded from Saturn from doing nothing. So it's got to feel like you have put so much work and energy in, so that when you get that reward, it's like so rewarding. It's like, oh wow, I've done such a good hard job. I put so much effort into this relationship, into these friends, into this group, into this community. I've really shown up. I've really stayed in my integrity. I've done the right thing, whatever it is. And I can really see now that it's worth it. And if I keep doing it even more and working harder, I know that it's going to get me build something really well. Because what it's doing as well, we're working hard for 2.5 years in this area of our life so that we can be rewarded and have something strong, and we've built something that will last for another 20 years or more to come. So for at least another 20 years, we can have these things that we've been building with friends, with communities, with social groups, with the bigger high picture for you Aries rising in that area of life. So that's where it is for Aries rising. So for Taurus rising, so for Taurus energy, this will then be your 10th house. 11, 12? That's right, isn't it? Yep, 10th house. So the 10th house is your career, it's your work, it's what you do, where you, what you're building, what you're, where you're trying to build a legacy. It's your reputation. It's your, it's what you're building, what you're building, what you're working towards. It's your legacy. It's your reputation. It's your career, all that stuff basically. So that 10th house, so where you've been committed, working hard, putting in the effort in those things, with your public reputation, with your career, with your work, with your legacy, what you're building, you're going to get results. So, you know, it could be a promotion or something that starts to come through, or you can see that, you know, there's opportunities for promotion or for growth, or you can really start to see where you've been working really hard on your own business or on your work or whatever it is. You can really start to see now that it's going to start to pay off. Like, it's the hard work is worth it, and if I continue to put this more work in, it's going to be even better, and there's going to be big rewards that come from it. I can see where the hard work needs to continue to be done and where I can see that it's worth it, sort of thing. So that's where it is for you, Taurus. So for Gemini rising people, it's going to be in the 9th house then. So the 9th house is our higher learning and education. So if you've been studying, learning something that is, you know, taking this 2.5 years, a long time to learn, not something that's, you know, a couple of weeks to learn or a day here or there, something that's a long-term commitment to learning, to your higher education. It could be to do with religion or philosophy or I'm so bad with that word, even though it's my Sag moon. And I've got so much 9th house stuff. Your things to do with like things that are far away or long distance or other cultures or that are overseas or that are foreign. Anything to do with that, where you've been putting that work and hard effort in and showing up and committing and all that. Anything to do with like teaching, 11th house teaching, not 11th house, sorry, 9th house, publishing stuff as well, I think is the 9th house, and yeah, where you're like putting out your because it's teaching and educating and stuff like that and learning. So anything to do with that stuff, where you've been putting in the work and the hard work and staying true in your beliefs and your ethics too, and staying strong in your integrity in that area of life, and putting in the commitment and the hard work, you're going to feel rewarded and have a big payoff and something come through for there from that commitment and that hard work over the next few months, you know. Just let me go forward again. I did say, seems Saturn must be, let's just have a quick look. Sorry, I have to quickly stop to look at this. I'm going to go a week at a time, and I'm going to go as fast as I can quickly. But so Saturn's currently 18 degrees. So Saturn must be start to move really fast once it stops to station. So 1845, we're going a week at a time. 1857. Let me just look. Saturn is Saturn. +8. Okay, so it's in a good place. Does this one? Oh, here we're traveling. Here we go. So Saturn is traveling. So as of the 13th of November, Saturn is traveling 2 degrees. I think that means a day. 2 degrees a day. Is that right? Let me go forward a week. So we're at 18 degrees, 19. Maybe it's 2. I'm not sure. Anyway, so if we look here, we go a week, 19 degrees. Seems like it's a degree a week. So it's going sort of a degree-ish a week. So it is moving quite fast. And if we're February, we're at the start of March and Saturn is at 0 degrees. There we go. So yeah, wow, he moves just to be 18 degrees now and then feels like March is so close. And I'm so excited for March. There's so much astrology changing and happening and lifting off and taking off. It's amazing. And for me, like so much happening and going to be happening in my chart from March. So it's exciting. Sorry, let's go back to where we are now. Back to 16th of October. Okay. So yeah, so Saturn. Yeah, so March is when it Saturn's changing signs into Pisces. So it's either, you know, at the end of that transit or as we get towards the end of that transit, you know, you really, really start to see those rewards. So yeah, so for Gemini rising, that was the 9th house through your higher education, your learning, your teaching, your things that are far away, long distance, that sort of stuff. So for Cancer rising people, this will be the 8th house, and the 8th house is all about transformation, healing. It's about our other people's money and resources. It's investments, insurances, taxes, inheritances, banks, our partners' money and resources, our business partners' money and resources, things that are occult or taboo, things to do with trauma and listed as healing, sex, death, birth, power struggles, 8th house stuff, control, secrets, the truth, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, where you've been committing, putting in the work, showing up, taking responsibility for, you know, whether it's to do with other people's resources and money, your investments, your taxes, inheritances, insurances, any of that stuff, your trauma, your healing, putting in the work and effort, your things that are to do with like sex and intimacy, working really hard and putting effort and showing up with that stuff, with your partner or whatever, with yourself, and the trauma and the healing and working through the death, the birth, the transformation, the change, and things like that need to happen in those areas that in your life. So if you've been putting in the effort, working hard, showing up, taking responsibility in those areas, you'll start to see the rewards come through, whether it's through like, you know, your partner's money and resources improve or Saturn's rewards through that way, or whether through your investments or through inheritance or something like that, or through the healing. You know, you really are rewarded from the healing that you've done because you've done the healing, and the reward comes from being healed and not having to deal with that trauma and that stuff anymore that is keeping you stuck or holding you back. Like, that's powerful. You are then able to step into your power, and that's where it you know, Saturn rewards you because you're then in your power and able to build something and move forward and be strong. Okay, so for Leo and Leo rising would be the 7th house for you. So where you've been having to show up for the last 2 years, put a lot of effort in, put in since, you know, December 2020, commit to things, stay in your integrity, put in the hard work. All of that is the 7th house things, which is relationships, partnerships. It's your one-on-one relationships, how you relate to others, yeah, your partner, your love, your relationships, that stuff. So where you've been committing, where you've been committed and putting in the effort and showing up, you'll be able to see the rewards come through from that. And, you know, it could be like a proposal or something, like someone could propose to you, that commitment could be made, that reward from putting in that energy and that effort. Or it could just be, if you're single, it could be like the reward of like you then having a partnership come in that's ideal for you, that brings that structure, brings that Saturnian energy of commitment and long-term, something that's for the long term, and marriage and all that sort of stuff like that could come into your life through you putting in that area in your life in the 7th house, themes of how you relate to others and relating with others and partnerships and business partnerships and one-on-one relationships and all that. Or you could just, you know, move in with someone, see more commitment in some way, or, you know, more responsibilities or whatever. Okay, so for Leo, so we're going to Virgo and Virgo. So for Virgo rising energy, so Virgo rising people, this will then be in the 6th house. So the Saturn in the 6th house is your health, your well-being. It's your daily routines. It's your work, what you do on a day-to-day basis, and you showing up and putting responsibility in and staying in integrity. So it's like, you know, have you been eating right? Have you been exercising? Have you been going to bed and waking up early enough? Have you been getting to work on time? Have you been staying true to your commitment, to your daily routine and what you need to do, what you're committed to? Have you been showing up for your health and your well-being, your vitality, like your energy? Have you been looking after your health? Have you been showing up for your pets? Looking after them and taking responsibility of your pets. Your co-workers, have you been showing up and taking and, you know, being committed and being in integrity with your co-workers? Any of these sorts of things for you, where you can then start to see the rewards. You know, if you've been working really hard on your health and your well-being, then, you know, you can start to see now that the efforts and the results are coming through from you looking after yourself and putting that effort in that area of your life. Or it could be what you do on a day-to-day basis, your work. You could start to see some really good things come from co-workers or through your work, and it affects you on a day-to-day basis and those commitments that you make. So for Libra rising people, so this will be them in the 5th house for you. So the 5th house is about our love and romance. So if you've been showing up, being in your integrity, taking responsibility, putting effort in, working hard towards, you know, for love and romance, for your creativity, putting effort into your creativity, how you express yourself as well, but also with your creativity, and also where you play, your hobbies. So that this could be for someone with this Libra rising, could be if you've got a hobby, so like astrology, you've been working really hard, you've been showing up, you've been committed, you've been putting the effort in, staying in your integrity, all that stuff, then in that hobby, then when Saturn moves out, you could then be rewarded with, you know, something from showing up and putting that energy in, whether it could, you know, you'll get some kind of reward from that, being committed to that hobby, or for showing up for it, for putting that effort and commitment. And Saturn will give you some kind of long-term reward that's going to last for like 20 years. It could be around children too. The 5th house is not only our creativity and our inner child and being in tune with that, but it's children as well. So children are life. So Saturn could have brought more responsibility, more burdens, and more commitment to you in your life through children. This has happened for me because I've now got a niece, and it has meant more burden and responsibility in a sense for children, because now I have someone. It's not my child in a sense, but it's a child in my life that is more responsibility and someone else you have to think about or show up for, you know, that sort of thing. Put time and energy and show up for that relationship. So it could be your own children as well. So it's like more, it could be when over the Saturn transit, you've gotten the burden of responsibility of children. You know, you've had a child or your children, something has happened where things have become more restrictive or more burdensome with your children. Maybe like, over the Saturn period, your children have gone from primary school to high school. Now they have all these things they have to do in high school, so it's meant more commitment for you, more responsibility for you, because you've got to take them, drive them around, or do more things for your kids because they've got all these sports on and all these commitments and all these things, and it's made more responsibility in that for you. So it can be something through your children for you as well, where you've had more responsibility, more commitment, had to show up more, put a little bit of time and effort and energy in. So any of those sorts of things. Okay, so for Scorpio and Scorpio rising people, this will be in your 4th house then. So the 4th house is our home, our family, our heritage, our ancestry, our mother. It's where we have our safe place, where we look after ourselves and protect ourselves and all that. It's it's our foundation. Yeah, it's our family. It's our where we look after ourselves and have our self-care and all that. So it's like if you've been looking after yourself and putting that self-care and having that good safe space and clean, good environment where you can self-care and look after yourself and been putting a lot of effort and responsibility in that, then that will start to pay off. If you've been putting a lot of energy and effort and showing up and responsibility and commitment into the family or the home in some way, it could have been like money and resources and finance into the home, building, renovating, something like that. It could be just in general with the family and the home and showing up and committing and doing more for the family and trying to bring more energy into that. It could be anything like that. Into your ancestors, into your heritage, putting more energy or effort or commitment or something towards that as well. Any of those sorts of things that then you can start to see the rewards come through, So if you've been doing renovations for the last 2 years, it's like you could be coming to the end of it now, starting to see how amazing they are and how rewarding it is now that they're done and they're coming to completion to the end. It could have been, you could have been really restrictive with your family time and space or whatever it is, and like you've been putting a lot of more effort and time, responsibility, showing up more, whatever, for your family, and now like it's become to the point where it's like there's a good stable structure within the family, and there's good it's good structure, and there's a good family balance where there's like good commitment and good integrity, and everyone's showing up for each other and putting the energy and effort and time in, and it's like better relationships and dynamics there or something like that. Okay, so for Sagittarius rising people, this will be the third house then. So the third house is the way we communicate and speak and talk. It's our ability then to express ourselves, that third house too. So if you've been speaking up, speaking your truth more, writing, talking, speaking, getting out there what you want to communicate, what you're thinking, your thoughts. If you've been working on your mind and your mindset, that's very big for the third house too. Working hard, putting energy and time, effort, commitment to having a better mindset, to having better thoughts and thought processes that are more structured, showing up for like your siblings or for your neighbors or for your community, like your local community, or even like committing or putting effort into some kind of short study or short learning or into those. It's not the long distance higher education, only like your unit degrees and all that. It's more like short courses and improving your skills and stuff like that. So if you've been putting any energy or effort into those sorts of things, that's where we can start to see the rewards come through now, through, again, like I said, siblings in that, our environment, through our neighbors, our short distance travel as well, where we go short distance, and also through our communication, our speaking, our talking, our writing. If you've been like, this could be ninth house or third house thing, but if you've been like writing a book or something like that, and committed and showing up and putting a lot of effort into that, then you can maybe start to see it coming towards the end results, where it can start to come into fruition. You can see the rewards that can come from putting in that effort and committing to it and doing the hard work and all that. Hey Yoda. It's a bit warm in here. Hey sweetie, I'm nearly done. And then I'll do some readings and then, okay. So, Capricorn Rising. So if you are Capricorn Rising, this has been in the second house for you. So the second house is all about our money and our finances, our possessions, our resources. It's our skills and abilities, our self-worth, our confidence. So any of those things where you've been putting more effort in, working hard. So you could have been working on your self-worth and your confidence and trying to improve your skills and abilities so that you become a more stable person within yourself and feeling more secure within yourself, working on your insecurities and stuff like that. Any of those sorts of things, or working hard on your finances, your money saving, putting a lot of effort into managing your money better, into possessions and resources, like it's sort of second house and fourth house can be like real estate and property, depending what the gain is for. But yeah, so anything that's like changing your attitude towards money as well and how you feel about money, working on that sort of thing. But yeah, your confidence, your skills, your abilities, your stability, your securities, all that sort of stuff, basically working hard, putting putting energy and committing, showing up, all that stuff are there. You'll start to see the rewards now come through for that. So, you know, you're like, yeah, if you've been working on your self-confidence and that, and then you've been working on, like, you've been doing daily affirmations for the last 2 years, or meditations and daily affirmations, and like going for walks every day in nature, and like really connecting with yourself and getting stronger within yourself, then you know that you can start to see the results that come through from that now, from you being confident and being able to go out there and do more with yourself in your life, and having more being able to attract more to and manifest more because of that that strength now. Okay, and for Aquarius rising people, this will be the first house for you. So the first house is all about who you are, what you're about, the way that you're putting yourself out there and presenting yourself. So it can be your appearance, people's first impressions of you. Also, it's the way you interact with the world in general. So the way that you're seeing the world, interacting, relating to the world. It's part of your, you know, again, part of your personality, like the sun. So it's like what you're about, who you are in a sense. So you could have been, you know, having to grow up. The first house, Saturn, is usually about us having to grow up, us in general, us all in every area of our life. We have to grow up, show up more, take more responsibility, put more effort in, be more in our integrity, and work hard, and put time and effort into things and all that sort of stuff. Like, get serious about our life, work out what's important to us, all that sort of thing. So that's what Saturn will have been doing for you. And if you've been putting in the work and effort and taking more responsibility, showing up more, doing all those things, then you'll start to see the rewards come through. And it could be in any area of your life, and it could be where your natal Saturn is in your life, in your chart, that then the results really manifest in that area, or where that Aquarius energy is for you. Well, it's your first house, but or where that I was going to say that even that Capricorn energy is you, because it's related to Saturn as well. So for Pisces rising, last of all, Pisces rising people, that means this will be the 12th house for you. So the 12th house, if you've been working hard, committing, showing up, putting in effort, taking responsibility, staying in your integrity with 12th house themes, which is super important with Saturn in the 12th house. So that is things like your mental health. So it's like taking responsibility, showing up, putting effort in to have better mental health and to stay more balanced psychologically. It represents institutions and hospitals as well. So if you've been doing and healing, so if you've been doing the healing and getting the help and therapy and all that stuff you need, then putting the effort and work into that, then that's going to really pay off. 12th house is also our connection with God, the universe, our higher self. So if we've been connecting with ourselves and tuning into ourselves and God and our connection with the universe, and trying to find that spiritual connection within ourselves, and putting in the work and effort and meditating every day, or praying every day, or whatever it is, the spiritual yoga, whatever it is, those spiritual practices, that whatever it is for you, been doing that work, and that, then that's where you're going to reap the rewards and see that, and the efforts pay off from those 12th house themes. It's also, the 12th house can be where we can self-sabotage, and where we can deceive ourselves, and we can have hidden intentions and stuff like that, and we can have it's our subconscious mind and that too, where we're, you know, you've got conscious mind, your subconscious mind. So it's like where our subconscious drive is coming from, in a sense that it's like can be our dreams, and where we retreat and all that too. So it can be a time too, but like with Saturn there, it's like, have you been putting in the effort for the mental side and that? But it's like part of all that 12th house stuff too, the yoga, the meditation, the working on your mental state and all that stuff is, have you been putting the effort into, and commitment and responsibility into retreating, into the healing, into the retreat? Oh, Yosh, ouch, your nails are sharp. Yeah, retreat and healing and all that stuff, because it's where we retreat, where we go to retreat and to get away and all that and heal. So if you're putting the work and the effort into that sort of stuff as well. Yeah. Hey Dead King. Yeah, so that's it. So that is it for all the signs. So that is really, really big. So Saturn, you know, it's almost been 2 years. It's been like 11 months that Saturn's been here now in this Aquarius energy, where we've been 11 months, sorry, a year and 11 months. So how many was it? 24, so 23 months. Saturn's been here for 23 months, making us work hard, put effort in, show up, commit. It's felt probably burdensome at times. It's felt like, you know, like too hard and really restricted, and like it's just overbearing and too much, and just like you don't want to do it sometimes, whatever. But we've stuck to it, and we've done the hard work, and we've put the effort in, and we've shown up, and we've stayed committed and stayed in our integrity and taken responsibility and put in time and energy and effort and all that stuff. We really will see the rewards that will be lasting for the next 20 years. What we've been building for this last 2 and a bit years. And that will be coming up really potently, finishing towards now, between now and March. Okay, so you made it. Yeah, just in time. So if anyone is still around and you'd like me to look at your chart, we can either look at where the eclipse energy is going to be happening for you, the solar eclipse on the 25th, or if you want to know where the Saturn energy is affecting you. It's really important to Saturn, so I hope you choose Saturn, because we can talk about the eclipse next week. But yeah, if you'd like me to look at your chart and look at where either of these two energies are going to be affecting you, or how they're affecting you right now, just comment in the chat your date of birth, time of birth, location of birth, and I'll bring up your chart and we'll have a look. I'll have enough time to look at a couple of charts. There's usually a couple of people that respond anyway, so yeah, just post and we'll see who comments and we'll have a look if anyone wants their chart looked at. Hey gosh. Now I'm gonna have cat hair all up my nose. They're molting because we're going into summer. Well, we're in spring, but we're getting there. It's getting warm. Not at night though, it's still cold at night. Oh, gosh, there's so much hair everywhere. So, all right, well, we wait and see if anyone wants me to look at their chart. Hey, Nali, how are you? How's it going? How have you been? What time is it for you? Is it like 9 a.m.? Oh, probably like 7 a.m.? Hang on. 3 hours. And another like 5 hours. So maybe like 7 a.m.? Oh, 6:15. You're well. That's good. Oh, gosh. Gosh. Gosh, gosh, gosh. Oh my gosh, so much hair, gosh. And I've been brushing you like crazy too. Oh. Okay, now I've got hair all over me. I can feel it. Got a cat moustache and beard. Okay, so yeah, does anyone want me to look at their chart? Otherwise, I'm just gonna ramble some more about some random astrology and then probably log off. I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm just waiting for all the shifts in March to come. It's like you're meant to live in the moment and now. But I just know of all the like crazy energies that are coming from March, and it's like, yeah, I'm ready for change. And I know that that's what all these shifts and planetary movements are going to bring is change. So I like change. All right. But, you know, change involves us having to do something, and that's not always comfortable or easy. And that's what happens with eclipses and eclipse seasons, is that it forces us to make changes that we haven't made that we should have as well. So that's what we're going to be experiencing on the 25th of October. This is a nice transit to talk about. Hang on, let me just... Now I've got cat hair in my eyelashes too. Oh no. It's the worst when I get them in my eyelashes. Can't get them out. Oh dear. That's what happens when you have Persian cats. So, So, oh, that's right. We were going to. Okay, so, so this is today, isn't it? 16th of October. So we have, I just saw here now, we have Venus. And so Venus is in its home sign in Libra. So it has two home signs, Libra and Taurus. And Venus is currently here in conjunction with the Sun in Libra. So a conjunction is two planets coming together. It's like new moon energy in a sense. It's like a new birth or new beginning or new opportunity or a refresh or restart in some way with the planetary energies. So it's the two energies coming to blend their energies together to what's the word? Tip of my tongue. Mutate their energy? That's not what I was looking for, but yeah, so it's like to integrate their energies or whatever. But Venus is because Venus is behind the Sun at the moment, 20 degrees. You see the Sun's at 22 degrees. She's actually sort of hidden by the Sun's rays. The Sun's so bright, so she's like invisible in a sense. So she's like, her energy's not being seen as much, but she's still there. She's just being out taken by the Sun. The Sun's energy is so much stronger. So that masculine ego energy is a bit stronger at the moment. So we're talking about those two energies blending together. Then we're talking about when are they exactly conjuncting? So oh well, I just went forward a week because that's just what I was set on a week, and they conjunct exactly a week at 29 degrees. So they're building all week by the looks of it. Then let's go back to a day. 28 degrees. Oh wow, they're conjuncting all week. They're dancing together in the sky all week. That's beautiful. So the Sun is our vitality. It's our heart. It's what lights us up. It's where we can find happiness and joy. And with Venus there, Venus is all about pleasure and about what we love. It's about how we give and receive love. It's our love language. Venus is our possessions. It's our money. So the Sun and Venus coming together is giving us some good energy. Those two energies coming together where we can have some, some good energy, some vitality in that with relationships, with love, with money. It's in Libra too, so it's all about balance and harmony and peace and finding that equal energy where we can equally relate to each other on a balanced level. So that ego energy and the heart energy coming together. So it's like for love, for the purpose of love and for the purpose of finding pleasure as well. So it could be some kind of where we get some kind of pleasure or some kind of really good something good could happen with our money or finances or relationships or love or something that way from that Sun energy. The Sun's lighting up, bringing some happiness and joy into our life. So something that's going to bring us some happiness and joy. So growing pains. Are those Egyptian bounds on the outside? It doesn't look like deacons. Where are you looking at? Oh, on the outside. Oh, so that's the Ptolemy. I'm having a blank. So not decans, but I'm having a blank. I'm tired today, but they ruled, their degree rulers, the Ptolemy, whatever his name is, rulers basically for those. I can't even think of what it's called now. I'm having a blank. Yeah, him. So each certain degrees are ruled by a certain sign. Well, a secondary sign. Bounds? I'm not sure if it's called Egyptian bounds. I'm not sure. I haven't heard that term before. So it could be. What was I looking at again? Oh, Venus, that's right. So I said a week, didn't I? So 16. So are they in a week? Are they conjuncting in 29 degrees? And then what do they do? So 29 degrees, they're conjuncting. 0 degrees. Wow. So they're meeting at 0 degrees. They're still conjunct at 0 degrees of Scorpio. So they're going from Libra into Scorpio. Wow. So that means there could be some really good chances then over the next week once it moves into that energy. So for us to find that balance and peace and harmony and excitement and energy and vitality within relationships, with love, within money, and then they move together into that energy of Scorpio where we can have some really deep, intimate connections with people. We can have some, I don't want to say luck because Jupiter's not involved, but it's like some kind of happiness or good vibrant energy that's going to come from like money related. So like Scorpio is like investments. So it could be from investments or from other people's resources or money. There's like, maybe we get opportunities or some kind of help or something, helpful people, something like that, because that's Venusian energy. Could be from other people with resources, with money, with finances or something like that too with this energy. It could be too that other people, relationships, money, finances, something tied in there with our to do with like healing of like trauma and intimacy and sex and stuff around like secrets or anything like that too, where there could be some kind of healing or truth come out that brings some kind of intimacy or deeper connection or soul connection or something like that to the surface, like some soulful energy or something like that. There's something that's going to light us up inside, light us energy and vitality up, but also light up our soul, because we're talking about Scorpio energy too. So light us up on a deep, intimate level in some way. So, what else? Oh, that energy too, the sun and Venus, because we're talking about Venus and talking about that sun. It's like attract, so we could attract more money and finances into our life. We could attract more love, more relationships. We could attract more pleasure as well around this time. So, this is nice. This is like good energy over the next week and a bit, like this Venus and sun together, like just over a week it seems to be. Like I said, I don't feel like it's lucky. Like I don't know about the luck of like Jupiter, like we're just going to receive something, but I feel like something could come through for us, or something makes us really happy, you know. And we can find some pleasure through beauty, through women, through creativity, through the sun's creative too, through art, through creative things, through expressing ourselves. So it's an energy too where we can really express ourselves from our heart and express our love and express what gives us pleasure and brings us pleasure, and find more pleasure from expressing that and joy from being in that energy and being truthful and honest, especially when it moves into that Scorpio energy at 0 degrees. Being more truthful and honest about what we want, desire, and need, and what's going to make us happy is going to bring more of that too. Maybe a seed we planted will manifest itself. Yeah. Given that we experience motion of the instruments already, is it possible we know or feel what's coming? Possibly. Hey, that's it. Do you think it's possible? Terms. Do you think it's possible these deeper intimate connections could be forming in advance, almost preemptively? definitely, because because of the eclipse energy, and because of that Saturn and Aquarius energy already, and everything that's been going on the last 2 years, we're already in that energy of forming new relationships and connections and getting with the right people. That's already been a theme, especially with Mars and Venus that were doing their dance back in March, and the energy that's been carrying on throughout the year and what they've been doing too, because they're the rulers of the North and South Node, which is driving our energy, our past and our future, and driving us towards what we're moving towards collectively and individually. And Mars and Venus being the rulers of that, their energy and what they're doing is so important, and their connection is about relationship and relating to others and going after what we want, but having the right connections and people to help us. And that's part of that Saturn and Aquarius energy. It's like connecting with the right communities and people, and aligning with those people so that we can move towards the future in a bigger and a higher picture, and have good structures, and have built something that can help us to have some kind of stability, or structures and building to move forward and continue to build something. So yeah, we're already in that stable foundations. Yeah, so we're already in that energy of finding the right people, connecting with the right people in relationships. So when something like the Venus and Sun comes together in conjunction, which is going to happen every year, the Sun and Venus conjuncting, it brings in that opportunity energy for us to experience that, and to have those pleasurable moments with Venus there, and to experience joy and express ourselves on a deep soul level, and from the heart as well when we're talking about the Sun. So that's really nice. This is something really good for the week, and it's in a It's like you see something positive, and then of course there's bloody Pluto. So it's also in a square though. It's in a square here with Pluto, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, is that a sextile? Hang on. Oh, my brain's not working today. So we've got... no, it's in a square. Yeah, so it's in a square. So it is in a square with Pluto though. So a big part of that is we're not going to be able to experience all of that if we're not stepping into our power, if we're in power struggles, if we're in places of trauma and toxic energy, or with toxic people, if we're power and control. Yeah, if we're like not if we're trying to control others, or we're being too controlling about situations and life and whatever in general, if we're having power struggles and any of those, if we're not being authentic and true and honest, if we're keeping secrets, if we're if we're not working through healing and trauma of, being able to build things and show up and take responsibility and commit and all that stuff, if we're having, any kind of energy difficulties there, then that's going to block those manifestations and block that energy of having that pleasure and having that, and it'll be more seen and more obvious, and it might come to light and you might see those opportunities, but you're restricted from them. You're being held back from them because of this healing over here that needs to happen, or the truth that needs to come out, or the secrets, or the power struggles that need to be worked out, or whatever it is, basically, over this side that is Pluto energy that's holding you back in some way. The fear, it can be fear as well, fear holding you back, or trauma, or anything like that. Oh. Hey, Shredder! How are you? It's because you don't listen to me. What is it? Me, whatever that bot is that you don't like. You always miss me. You miss me on stream, you miss me in person. No, I miss you too. Me 6, that's it. Funny. Yeah. So we won't be able to experience all that goodness that can come from that heart, soul, pleasurable energy if we're in the fear, if we're holding ourselves back, if we're stuck in old situations and whatever else. But it's going to be obvious to us as well. And it's going to come to the light so that we can fix it or change it or realize that we need to step into our power or whatever. So what else? So Saturn's in a trine. Oh no, that's a large trine, so it's not really. So Saturn's not really trining it. There's nothing else really affecting it. So yeah, it really comes down to that Pluto energy, and yeah, Pluto's just always about getting to the truth of things, because that's where your power comes from, standing in your truth. How's it going, Shredder? Did you stream today? What else is going on? That's the other thing too. It's something I not always, but sometimes I forget about this. One of the biggest things with Pluto too is obsession. So it's like where we're being too obsessive. So where we need to release and let go of that control and obsession. So there's, if we're being too obsessed about something or in some kind of obsession energy or something like that, then yeah, that's where we can have issues with that square and that energy as well. But I guess that's where it's like to do with power struggles and control, obsession, and all that comes in, doesn't it? So Saturn stationing as well until 25th. The 25th? 24th, 12 p.m. So until the 24th, 25th, depending where you are, Saturn's stationing. So Saturn isn't direct yet. So we're not going to start to, feel that Saturn energy, all that stuff we spoke about too, at least for another week and a bit. But the Saturn station is quite intense whenever Saturn's stationing. So we can be feeling the more intensity now of the reflection period of the last 5.5 months. So we can be really in that deep, intense stage of, have we been showing up? Have we been taking responsibility? Have we put in the hard work? We've been working through and reassessing that and recommitting over the last 5.5 months. So have we recommitted? Have we put enough effort and energy in now? Where do we need to keep putting more effort and energy into to keep moving this forward and keep building something? Will you be covering the partial eclipse on the 25th? I did last week. I spoke heaps about it last week. I spoke a little bit about it today, but I spoke heaps about it last week. And I'm going to talk about it in detail for each sign next week. But if you want me to look at your chart, I can look at it now, Shredder. And see what's happening for you. So we said a week to for the sun. Where are we? The sun entering him. The sun entering. Go back to the 16th. I want to go forward a week. So between now and next week when we chat again, the moon, the sun's still in Scorpio, Libra. So the sun's still in Libra until next weekend. So we don't really need to talk about the sun going into Scorpio quite yet. And Venus will still be. So the sun and Venus are entering together. So we'll talk about them in more depth next week. What did I say? So we've got the sun conjuncting Venus for the next week, and we've got sun and Venus in square with Pluto there. So Saturn and Uranus are in their square. And what else is going on? Mars is slowing down for its retrograde. So Mars is doing +0.6. So very slow now. Where did I go? A week ahead. So Jupiter's going to be at 0 degrees of Aries. So almost moving into back to that Pisces energy after next week. So yeah, wow, definitely have to come on next week and talk about everything going on because there's a lot going to be shifting next week for us. And what else? So Mercury is still in Libra. So Mercury is at 18 degrees. There we go. So Mercury is currently in a square trine. Oh, Mercury's in a trine with Saturn. So that's quite nice, actually. So there is some opportunity, some helpful energy, some really nice energy there from Mercury in Saturn. So yeah, so I think that's more to what I said before, was like that reflection, rethinking, reevaluating. So it's like not even that, but it's like we're in that we're in the process now of thinking about the opportunities and the good things now that can come from, you know, what we've decided that we need to recommit to from the last 5.5 months of Saturn being in retrograde. So we can start planning about where we're building and really committing to and continuing to put that effort in so that we can have something build over the next 20 years. And ideas can come through and revelations and epiphanies and things like that, basically, with that Mercury in that trine. Information, more information, that sort of thing usually. Planning can come from it as well. I think that's all that I really want to talk about until next week. Sure. Yes, bring the revelations. Yeah. All right, Shredder, I'll bring up your chart and we'll have a look where the eclipse is for you. Do I have you in solar file? Let's have a look. I don't think I do. Oops. Okay, let me add you. Move stuff around on my computer since I reformatted, so now I have to find things again. Maybe if I just... Oh, there we go. Here it is. Okay. bring up the transits as well. So let's open up. I'm pretty sure I've got this. Yep, the eclipse chart here. I want to open that and open you at the same time. And I want a bi-wheel. No, we don't want bi-wheel. We want... We want a... Where is it? Oh, I don't think that's the right one. Hang on, we want... Oh, hang on, don't I just press F2, F1, and it does it? Okay, it's not F1, F2, nope. Oh, Alt F2, no, Control F2, no, yeah. Yes, but I want a different style. I don't want bi-wheel. I don't always forget how to do this. Oh, got it. It is Control F1. Damn it. Okay. Here we go. That's right. I might as well, I'm here, have a look. Okay, so. And then I'm going to go after that. All right, so we have. So the eclipse is in 2 degrees, I think. Let's go back to the eclipse chart over here. Oh, you can't see. Hang on, let me bring it up. Oh, why do I always do that? Okay, I didn't start talking for an hour and then not showing. View chart. There we go. Silly thing. Go smaller. There we go. There we go. Okay, so okay, so we have the eclipse chart over here. So we have the eclipse. Hang on. Oh, this is the old one. Ah, whoops. I opened the wrong one. Just wait. That's the one from May. Oh, we won't delete it. Okay, we need to open up recent one. Where is it? I did save it. That's the eclipse in Taurus. Where's this lunar eclipse? Yeah, eclipse. That's May 20. That's where I saved this. Scorpio solar eclipse. Here it is. Okay. Alright, there we go. Control F1. There we go. Okay. Ah, that's better. So I think it's like 2 degrees. Yeah, so 2 degrees here. We have the moon and sun together, creating a new moon, creating the solar eclipse in Scorpio. So 2 degrees of Scorpio in your chart is down here in the 2nd house. So your finances, money, possessions, your resources, your self-worth, your confidence, your skills and abilities. So the solar eclipse is illuminating, shining a light, bringing in some kind of new energy, new opportunity around those things. But first you have to go through purging, basically. You've got to purge out. Maybe it's parts of your insecurities, or things to do with stability, or things to do with, you know, saving and managing your money better, or to do with like possessions. There's something there that needs to transform and change so that you can, something can be eclipsed and new can be brought into that area of your life. I can definitely see that. So The eclipse is 2 degrees. What else was going on? So we have Jupiter in an inconjunct 0 degrees. We have that's right. I knew there was something else. Venus. So Venus is conjunct. That's right. As well. So again, Venus is to do with finances and to do with our love language and to do with our pleasure. So where we can find pleasure as well. So so 2 degrees. So what else is going on in your chart? So 20. So you got your Mars at 27 in Gemini. It's making another inconjunct there. Incuncts with Mars in the 10th house. So sorting that out, the second house stuff and all that will help you with working toward, with Mars in that 10th house, working towards your future, working towards your legacy and what you're creating, what you're building with your career, with your legacy, with your reputation. With all of that, basically, your drive towards those things, your ambition, all of that can have some more momentum once you purge or release or let go of whatever it is in that second house there that you're staying stuck in fear and holding back, and it's not letting you to have the pleasure you want and have the stability and the security and all that you need. It's also so this solar eclipse too is helping us to see where we're in a false sense of happiness, where we're seeing things feel like acting as though things are stable and secure in that area of our life when they're not really making us happy and they're not really as secure as we think, and they could crumble at any second or any moment. There could be a tower moment, and it could be shaked up, and something could come in and shake it up and destabilize it at any time. It's like bubbles boiling beneath the surface and stuff like that. So that's being illuminated there as well. So there's eclipsing opportunities into our life. So releasing that and letting go, and then enabling the opportunities for finances and money and other sources of income, and using your skills and abilities and being confident and standing in your power and all that, basically, then will give you those opportunities then towards the career and the legacy and the reputation and what you're working towards and all that. That south node is there too, with Mars. Did you know our Mars is, I've said it before, I think, our Mars is arconjunct, mine and yours. We'd say Mars. Mars and Gemini. It's Sinistry. We've got the same drive and determination. Same drive, same determination. We're driven towards speaking, communicating, talking. We're driven towards expressing ourselves. Driven towards, you know, what drives us is our thoughts and our thinking, and our mind and mindset is a big part of what drives us and where we take action. So yeah, we take action on our thoughts and our thinking, and we can get wound up with that too, and we can get aggressive with our words and our communication and our speaking as well, having a Mars in Gemini. But also where we're driven towards information and learning and sharing information and connecting. That's what we're driven towards. We're ambitious when it comes to socializing, connecting, researching, finding information, connecting the dots, thinking about things, analyzing things. And your south node's there too, so that means it's a karmic connection between us. Past life connection. Maybe we were astrologers in our past life together. It's conjunct Judo too. Maybe we're married in a past life. Could have been married in a past life as well. Funny. Yeah. Mercury at 7 degrees. So your Mercury's in a sextile. In the first house, so as well. So there could be some new information, some messages, some communication or something like that with women, with relationships, to do with love, to do with money. That's helpful, that's pleasurable, it brings more pleasure to your life. That helps with that healing maybe. Yeah, there's like helpful women, possibly. Something to do with women or money or finances, but that's helpful, that's informative to you, that's an idea, that's some inspiration, that's some kind of communication or message or something like that that can come through too. If I had to pick my favorite placement, it'd be my Mercury in first house. That's always a good placement, and in Virgo it's even better. Oh yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's funny you just said that, and I just pointed that out about this transit. That's hilarious. Synchronicity, hey? Yeah, so yeah, that's nice. Having that sextile there with Mercury to the eclipse. So some kind of helpful or pleasurable information, message, communication, thoughts, ideas, inspiration can come through, and it could be connected to women or to do with women. It could be pleasurable or something like that. So that's nice. So remember, this energy is manifesting over the next 6 months too. So it's eclipsing things in and out of our life. So this solar eclipse is eclipsing something in our life. And then the lunar eclipse in Taurus on the 9th of November is eclipsing something out of our life. So we've already had the opposite eclipses in May. And now we're having the opposite energies to finalize or complete that process, and carried on until the eclipses leave Taurus and Scorpio and move into Aries and Libra next year. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think it's good, this eclipse for you. It's nice. Might be intense and might feel uncomfortable, but it's going to be to evolve you towards you, move you towards your destiny, towards your future, towards the North Node at the end of the day. And then that, let's just have a look. Can we animate? I don't think, oh, we can animate. Yep. I don't think you'll see the animation. No, but you'll see the other chart. If I just go forward, I can bring it up. Hang on, let me go forward to... Oh, hang on, wait. No, this is okay. We're going forward to the 9th of November. 6th of November, day 9th of November, and we've got 26 degrees. That's too far. 8th of November, 15 degrees. 13 degrees, pretty close. 13 degrees, 14 degrees. Okay, so let me bring up the other chart. Change charts now. Okay, I'm animating now. So I hope so. I need a break. I feel like my career has been stagnant for too long. So where's Saturn for you? So Saturn is currently in... Oh, you're going through your Saturn return. Saturn return. So that's cool. God, I'm terrible today. I just can't think properly. Yeah, Saturn return. So yeah, Saturn's going to be intense for you, especially now Saturn stationing direct. It's going to feel, like I said, like you've put a lot of hard work in, a lot of energy, and it's going to feel restrictive and like you haven't gotten anywhere, and it has felt like hard work and all that. And it's in your 6th house too, so it is to do with your work and your career, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, your daily routines and structures and all that. So when Saturn now over the next few months up until March starts to move forward, you'll start to see some progress in that area, and you'll start to see where you continue to put in the hard work and effort, and you'll see that by putting in that hard work and effort, you will get the results, and you'll start to see the results that will come through. Does it still count as a return if it went direct and went backwards? Yeah, it's still in. You're still in your Saturn return for that whole time that Saturn's in that same sign where your Saturn is in. So, yeah, so, yeah, you need to just hang in there, keep working hard, keep showing up, keep putting effort in and doing that, because this lays out the next 30 years of your life, what you do now. Yep. So, the eclipse, need that moon to get with the sun at 16 degrees. There we go. So moon and sun at 16 degrees, forming the lunar eclipse on full moon lunar eclipse on the 8th of November. I thought it was 9th. Okay, 8th of November. Maybe 8 a.m. Maybe it's 7th of November for some people on the other side of the world. Oh, this is showing your time. Oh, so that's why it's not 9th of November for me. I couldn't work it out. Yeah, so 8th of November your time, 9th of November my time. Okay, that makes sense now. I didn't realize the chart did that, but okay. So, the solar eclipse, where something is lunar eclipse, where something's being eclipsed out of your life, is that opposite energy then. So we're talking about the Scorpio, and then that the north node, is in the 9th house. So yeah, so the 9th house is marriage, it's higher learning and education. So if someone had this happening, someone else had this happening, for example, here's an example, it doesn't relate to you, but say someone had been or even you, say you had been done that course and you'd been studying and doing the programming, what the coding thing you want to do, say you'd been doing that, it's like now coming to realizing that you've come to the completion point, like you've put in the hard work and you need to just put in more hard work for the next bit, but what's being eclipsed out of your life is the fact that you need to hang on. So solar eclipse, the moon is that releasing, that's it, letting go. Yeah, so where you've had, so this is more, it's probably where it's more coming, it's where we've had, well, so say, this is probably not related to you, but say someone had been studying all these degrees and just kept doing degree after degree after degree. It's like comes to that realization that, okay, all these degrees aren't really going to get me anywhere. What I've got now, what I own now, what I've got now, my skills and abilities are what I need, not what I can get or can keep working towards or whatever. It's like what I've got now is enough. So it's like knowing that the resources and the skills and abilities and what we have now in our life is enough to help us to get towards where we need to go. Not thinking we need more and we need enough. So it's being grateful and having gratitude for what we have now in the moment, appreciating more of that around us, and then more of that will come and we'll attract more of that into our life. So Mercury is actually there too with the sun. So it's like again, there's like more, I guess this is like Mercury is bringing in like the pieces, the information, the puzzle pieces, the conversation, the connection or contract or something that we need that can help us to get out of that fear and that trauma and that. In that Taurus energy, it's going to be all about us holding on to stuff and like holding on to hoarding and holding on to things, and that trying to keep control and trying to have too much stability and too much control in a sense, and not going with the flow and like trusting and knowing that we're enough. We ourselves are enough. We have enough skills and abilities. We have enough value and worth within ourselves that we don't need outside resources, outside things to move towards. So it's like letting go of the insecurities, letting go of where we think we're stable and we're not, letting go of where we're hoarding resources, money, any of that sort of stuff, letting go of where we're being hard on ourselves and like not seeing our true value and seeing how what we really have to offer and what value we have, and this really the skills and abilities we have, or the skills and abilities that we have to offer to society or to whatever it is. So in that 9th house too, it's to do with your beliefs and to do with like your ethics and all that. So it's a big part of like, so it's connected to that 2nd house and that self-worth and that confidence, and that 1st house about who you are and all that. So it's definitely like the beliefs around what you have and whether you're good enough, and if you're going to have enough resources and money and things like that to be able to get to where you want, to get what you need, to have what you need in the future and all that. So there's, letting go of old stories, old beliefs, old paradigms, old philosophies, old ways of doing, you know, and in at ninth house too could be like someone's got a maths degree, but that's really not going to help them as they want to be an environmentalist. So it's like releasing and letting go of like those skills and abilities. So you don't need that to move towards you being an environmentalist, like holding on to that. Oh, I've studied that. I need to do that. I need to rely on that. I put so much work and effort into that in the past that I need to continue to move forward with that. No, you don't need that. That helps you get self-confidence and help you to grow and get where you are, but it's not going to help you to move forward. You need to release that attachment to that so it doesn't control you and keep you out of your power of going towards what really is in your future and what you can really build and work towards and grow even more on that. So yeah, in that sense, if you can understand that energy, it's like those beliefs and those old stories around what your current value and confidence and skills and abilities. I'm starting this week. Starting what? Oh, what? Does it still? I don't think I'm getting married, but I'm starting game development. Don't know if that counts as higher learning. Yeah, well, it is. It's like learning a new skill or ability that's going to be able to help you move towards the future. And yeah, letting go of old stuff that kept us in our comfort zone or kept us safe, you know. So it could be old jobs, finances, money, income, streams, jobs, income streams, anything like possessions that kept us stuck and in a certain way. Game design. That's awesome that you start. So you're starting studying it, committing to it. Like Saturn wants you to in the 6th house of daily routines. Wants you to show up for something every day and put effort in. Not that you haven't been, I know you have been. You're going to start a course this week. Yay, that's so good. Congratulations. That's awesome, Shredder. All in divine timing. Starting a legit schedule. See, that's Saturn. That's so good. Saturn kicking your butt. Yep. So that you can really get the rewards from the hard work and all the showing up and effort you've put in over the last 2 years. And it's Saturn direct now. Saturn stationing is really going to be showing us where we need to commit to, where we really need to start showing up more and where we haven't been committing and showing. We should have seen that now over the last 5.5 months, where we haven't been putting enough commitment and energy and efforts into where we really want to be rewarded and have the gains in that from, and where we want to build our lives and build structures from. That's good. It's really good. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave it at that. Thanks for letting me look at your chart, Shredder. Thank you everyone else for chatting and for hanging around and being here. I appreciate it. I'll be on next week. We'll talk about the eclipses again. If you want to know more about the eclipses, go back and watch last week's video, last week's live stream on Twitch or YouTube. And I spoke way more in depth about the eclipses then. Otherwise, make sure you follow me on Instagram if you're not already, because I post on there more frequently during the week when I'm not streaming or doing lives, and put random videos and stuff like that up there. So Instagram is great to keep up to date more often. Otherwise, make sure you follow and subscribe on Twitch or on YouTube, wherever you're watching from. Please, it really helps. Leave any comments, whatever. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'll talk to you next week. Everyone have a great week. The Venus Sun, remember that we've got that beautiful Venus Sun conjunction this week, so some beautiful pleasurable things can come in for us if we're open to it, open our hearts, some inspiration. So yeah, take care. I will message you next time. Have a good week everyone, and thanks for being here. Bye.